Henry Abrams, J.J. Abrams, and Sarah Pichelli conclude their unique take on the Spider-Man mythos as Ben Parker is reunited with his father for one final battle against Cadaverous and the monstrous Spider-Queen, both who are hellbent on gaining a cure that will fix their shattered lives. Henry and J.J. Abrams finish up their interesting take on Spider-Man in a very simple and hopeful way, setting up for a sequel that we, unfortunately, will never get. Both writers delivered a rather cool version of the Spider-Man family, and the entire book was filled with fun takes on the Avengers and the characters like Ironheart and the world of New York built around them, but never really got to fully realize the scope of the universe they had created, mainly because the book was hampered by delays as well as the recent pandemic hindering its release. The lore laid out here was great, but it was all set up for a sequel with hooks placed throughout the series that screamed quote unquote come back later to see more about this, like Faye's romance to Ben and Riri running Stark Unlimited. I did enjoy how weird the villains got as well. Yes, their motivations were simplistic, but I thoroughly enjoyed it wasn't just Green Goblin or Doc Ock yet again, it was some original creations, which is quite refreshing. Sarah Pichelli again delivered some great looking art and really awesome looking monster and villain designs. I really enjoyed as well that the book was coloured with red and blue, Spider-Man's colours, so we get great looking pages that are just bathed in red for the villains, or in blue when Ben and his family are on the page, or a mixture of the two. It added an extra little bit of pizzazz and pop to the already well designed action and set pieces throughout the series. Spider-Man issue 5 was a wholly fine and unique conclusion to the Abrams' take on Spider-Man. It's disappointing though that much of the book was relying on setting up for a non-existent sequel, since lots of the new lore and things that were set up here were interesting and different, so it's a shame we'll never get to see what is next for Ben and Mary Jane Parker of this universe. I'm going to give this issue a 6.5 out of 10. Spider-Man issue 5 finds Ben Parker remembering when his father left him with Aunt May, reminding her it's too dangerous and he's doing this for him, since the monster that's hunting him wants him and there's no stopping him now that the Avengers are gone. There is no backing out of the assignment the Bugle is sending him on overseas. May says that he of all people should know what he's depriving his son of, but Peter still thinks he's saving him, and he can never know what he really is, hoping May will never tell him. In the present, Ben awakens in Cadaverous' lab, finding himself hooked up to many machines as the towering villain says he's bringing the dead back by extracting the spider mutation from the boy, hoping this trial succeeds where many failed. The villain knows this has to work since it's his one chance to bring his beloved Minka back. Ben knows he's talking about the woman Minka, knowing all of this was for her since he and the woman were researchers before she died in an accident at Oscorp. Ben knows the villain taking his father, killing his mother, and blowing up Oscorp were all for this woman. The villain tries to silence the boy, but Ben continues, saying that whatever is in his blood means something to him and Cadaverous wants what makes him different to help save Minka. Cadaverous grabs the boy, threatening to crush his skull and telling him to be silent, but Ben doesn't, theorizing that if his blood could bring back Minka, then it could also bring someone else back, and could what the villain is doing save his father? One of Cadaverous' drones suddenly attacks its master, smashing him away from Ben. The drone frees Ben, telling him to follow it as the boy uses his web shooters to grab the serum from Cadaverous' claws. Ben and the drone escape through the lab, pursued by the other drones, when suddenly the drone is overcome by pain in a room Ben discovers is filled with bombs. The drone grabs one of the bombs, popping the pin off of it and throwing it at the pursuing Cadaverous and his minions. The bombs go off as the drone again feels something inside of him, wanting Ben to leave before the villain finds them. Ben checks on the drone, having seen the tech it's made from, recognizing it as Stark tech. He pulls one of the cables from the being's neck and it cuts the connection in its head, freeing it from the pain. The drone leads them up the stairway, revealing that they are on a ship off the coast of New York. Ben asks if the drone has a plan besides running, so the drone says that it just saved the kid's life, so a little gratitude would be nice. Cadaverous soon returns, demanding the serum, but suddenly Ben and the drone are swept off their feet by Iron Man, who is impressed with his timing. Tony tells the kid that his father told him on the bridge that he is the priority and they are working at saving Peter with some special tech. Ben is shocked to learn his father is still in the web on the bridge, but Tony tells him he's not alone. Ironheart and Faye meanwhile battle the mutated Minka spider. Riri deals with the spider, telling Faye to use the disintegrator ray on the web to free Peter. Faye meets with Peter, who has no idea who the girl is, so she tells him that she is a friend of his son's, and they became friends after running from the cops, which doesn't sit well with Peter. Iron Man arrives with Ben and the drone in tow, reuniting the boy with Faye as Peter tells his son it hurts to move and do anything really thanks to being old. Ben shows him the serum, telling him that he can save him with this. Minka suddenly charges through the heroes, grabbing Ironheart and demanding the heroes give her the cure. Minka throws Riri at Tony, grabbing Ben instead, who knows he's always hated spiders, and all of this changes nothing about that. Minka demands the key, but Ben has no idea where it is, so the villain drops him. Ben knows that it was in his hand just before, but then the villain grabbed him. The drone soon spots it nearby as Ben says that he would love to help the villain, but he keeps being thrown into things. Minka says that there is only enough cure to save one person, and Ben wants to use it to save his father, but the cure belongs to her. The drone takes the serum to Peter, saying that it will restore him, and Peter knows that the being isn't just some soldier of Cadaverous, asking why it's helping his son. The drone calls him Tiger, and Peter realizes that it's Mary Jane, quickly hugging his thought long to be dead wife. Cadaverous jumps out in front of the couple, grabbing Peter and telling him to give up the key. Peter, however, reveals he doesn't have the serum anymore, having stuck it into the arm of Mary Jane. Minka becomes enraged, confronting Cadaverous, who says that there was a plan and their children are coming to wipe it all away like Oscorp before. He says that he wants the woman to be who she was before and they can begin again, but the spider monster stabs him in the stomach, saying that she will be, only without him this time. Ben and Faye meanwhile regroup as Minka turns her attention to them. Faye tries to shoot her gun, but it doesn't work, and Iron Man says that she's got the safety on, but before she can disengage it, the villain pins the kids to the ground. Minka is suddenly hit by an iron girder as Mary Jane, now back in human form, saves her son and Faye. Before Minka can attack though, Cadaverous returns, saying that he has given and taken so much for the woman during this. His drones swarm over the villain as she says that he never expected love from her, but he just expected some kindness and tolerance. Ben meanwhile is reunited with his mother, saying that she looks exactly like she does in the pictures. Tony meanwhile finds that Peter has multiple fractures and organ failures, meaning he is dying. Peter is picked up by Ben and MJ, reuniting with his wife and son, wanting to look at his wife one last time. MJ kisses her husband, telling him she loves him. Ben says that he didn't mean for any of this to happen, and Peter says he knows, saying the boy finds this all scary and it gets scarier all the time, but he needs to keep facing it, and even he was scared before, but the boy is more than ready now for what comes next. He tells his son he loves him and he should have never left him alone. Ben begins to cry, but Peter tells him it's okay since he and his mother are so proud of him. Suddenly the family spider sense triggers and Peter pushes MJ and Ben from the bridge as the entire structure explodes thanks to Cadaverous's bombs. MJ and Ben crash into the water as Ben begins seeing red thanks to the corpse of Minka covering the area. MJ soon grabs her son, pushing him to the surface as Ben realizes he never knew his father like that before and never knew he could be a hero, but he was. Sometime later, the Parkers see everyone off from their home after Peter's funeral, tidying up as Ben goes to console his grieving mother. Aunt May soon comes to join the family, showing them a case that Tony left behind. The family open the case, finding two brand new Spider-Man and Spider-Woman suits within it, telling Ben it's never too late to be what they want to be.